see a race now.
And just look at the way.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Sin City, where we're getting set for the season finale of the MTR Truck Series tonight at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And you're going to get to see all of the action from the green flag to the championship celebration unfold live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi everyone, I'm Samuel Ryman, and with me in the booth is Bill Soup Zahn. Behind the scenes doing all the button pushing is our good friend Sean Ambrose, and he'll be using camera sets provided by our camera guru Dougie Beard. Bill, this is a special race for these guys, of course, as it's a season finale, but it's also a special race for us, as it's going to be our first time covering these guys here on the GSRC, and what a track to start off with. Now, I know these 1.5 mile speedways tend to get a reputation as being cookie cutter tracks, but when it comes to truck series racing on iRacing, they truly do produce some exciting side-by-side racing.
Yep, if you're ever in the city built on sand and broken dreams with the Tropicana Casino to your left and the Luxor Pyramid to your right, keep driving straight past the airport and you'll find yourself at 1.5 miles of paved D-shaped desert that is the Las Vegas Speedway. In 1972, this place started as a drag strip. In 85, a 3/8 mile oval was built. Now, Sam talked about it being a cookie cutter. Dionne Warwick sings, "What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Lord, we don't need another mountain. We don't need another river." Now, lyricist Hal David could have added to that list, in my opinion, things that we have enough of, and that is 1.5 mile racetracks. Nevertheless, in 1996, they built one with turns banked at 20 degrees. As long as the weather isn't as hot as a 50-cent taco at the Union Plaza, these trucks will be flat out for the first dozen or so laps, but then tires will give away, and that's when the action really starts. Qualifying will be important, as passing will be as tough as rolling a hard 8. The track position, well, that be as precious as a pair of bullets in the hole on a game of Texas Hold'em. But let's get beyond all this verbal nonsense, because the best way to get an idea of what this place is really like is to jump on board the GSRC Silverado and take a lap around.
Hello, I'm James Grahula with the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm going to take you for a lap in the trucks around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Coming for your qualifying lap, the trucks have a lot of grip depending on what type of weather we're having. Look to have trucks going wide open in qualifying. Right there on the bottom, you want to run the shortest line around the track when you still have the grip. On here to the Nellis straightaway, we head into turn 3. Turn 3 is going to be a little bit tighter than 1 and 2. Your qualifying lap, you're going to want to head down all the way to the apron and get the shortest line. That apron is an option during the race. Look for some drivers to take advantage of that. As the run goes on, look for trucks to start venturing out to the higher lanes as the track becomes more rubbered. This is a progressive banking track, so you're going to see drivers heading up there to get the higher banking and hopefully find some more grip up there. Alright, let's look at a pit stop. Right in the middle of 3 and 4, you're going to want to start slowing down and getting on the brakes. Now, the pit road has been changed here in the last couple years. It's not as tight as it used to be, but still pretty tricky. And there is your lap.
And that was James Grahula taking the Chevy Silverado out for a spin a bit early in the day. Late afternoon now, rather cool track, 86 degrees Fahrenheit track temperature. Right now, qualifying is going on. Let's give you an idea of what drivers we've got in the series as they head into their season finale. We'll take a look at the points championship. And this is a very interesting way of running points, Bill. We mentioned this is round 9 of the 9-round season. This is the season finale. So, of course, that means they've done 8 races so far this season. But only your best 7 of those 8 results count. Now, I know some people who are familiar with iRacing back home are thinking, oh, this is a series that runs for the drop week. Well, yes, you're correct. But the kicker is that your last round can't be your drop week. These points are locked in, Bill. Now, all you've got to do tonight, this round counts. Everyone's racing for points tonight. So Nigel de Jong, he's won 4 races this season. If he wants to win this championship, he can't depend on drop weeks or anything. He's got to outscore Ian Cornish by 7.
Yeah, that's the beauty of how they laid this out. What happens on the track here in the season finale matters. And you can see that Jake Foster, Rye Sanders is in there as well, 12 back. Now, I think Mike Morris is probably too far back to have a legitimate shot at this. I believe the scoring system is just like NASCAR, 43 for first, 1 point difference all the way down. But the rest of these guys, if disaster were to hit enough of them, championship could go all the way down as far as maybe 4th.
And one thing that you really like about this system, Bill, is not only does it mean the championship doesn't get decided until the finale, but it means that everyone's at the finale. You're going to get as much participation as possible because this is a round that counts. We have 26 trucks here tonight. That's quite a lot for an 80-truck race. And they all turn laps, or most all of them turn laps in practice. They pretty much virtually almost a whole field has turned laps in qualifying. And 24 trucks right now in qualifying, covered by 0.4 of a second. We've got a competitive field here.
And just to follow up on your point, GSRC, we love to cover the big picture story of all season long. And I can't tell you how anti-dramatic it is when anticlimactic it is when we get to the end of the season and all of a sudden we're saying the driver in first crashes out and everyone's, well, he'll just drop those points. This is genius. This is the way all series should do it. It allows, it's the best of both worlds. It allows for real world obligations. Drivers can still miss to go to their sister's wedding, but they all have to plan to be here on the finale. Everybody who's important is here, and that's what makes this exciting. Man, I'm excited to be here.
Let's have a look at what the drivers are going to be faced with tonight, Bill, with our race details. 80 laps long, we already mentioned. That's not a lot of time, honestly.
Nope. That's about, we're looking at, if it were to go green, a fuel stint is about 50 laps, but we don't think tires will last that long. Now, the overlay shows 8 of 8 with no drops. That's really kind of incorrect there. It's 9 and 9, and today there is no drop. There is 1 drop all the way through the series. We've talked about that enough. Setups are fixed. That always makes for good racing because drivers don't put a car that's really fast in qualifying and then they try to race with and we end up with a yellow fest. I expect these fixed setups to be nice and steady, should put on some good racing. And this is big boy racing. No fast repairs. Another thing that, boy, it's tough here at GSRC when they have fast repairs on an oval. The guys that cause the trouble, they keep coming back. We don't want to see them again. If you get in trouble, your race is over and maybe your season.
And one thing, we're watching Dave Walsh, I believe this is on the track right now, the number 27 machine. One thing you're talking about, the trouble and wanting those fast repairs, Bill. Walsh is hitting 180 miles an hour down into turn 3 there. These drivers carrying a lot of speed. Here we get some info for you on Walsh's qualifying run. I think he just picked up time there on his latest lap and is currently sitting 13th of this grid of 27 trucks, right in the middle.
The big names, Cornish, who leads by 7 points, he's sitting at the top of the chart right now. De Jong, who sits 7 points back, is in 3rd. Saunders, again, that's another driver we saw. He was only 12 points back. He's in 2nd position. So, yeah, we're seeing some big names up front. It'll be interesting on pit stops as we don't think they're going to race the whole fuel stint. I'll be expecting guys to short fill because tires are really going to be the issue when you come in.
Yeah, well, the only thing I'll say to that, Bill, is if we get a clean and green race, you're saying about 50 laps on the tank of fuel. Well, as Walsh says, okay, I'm not using this truck for the race. 50 laps on the tank of fuel for an 80-lap race. That's not a huge pit window. Even if you want a short fuel, you're going to be pitting around lap 30. But let's end the speculation because qualifying is over. The race is about to start. Let's run through the grid. As you mentioned, Bill, Ian Cornish takes pole position by less than 0.02 of a second over Rye Saunders. Nigel de Jong has won half of the races this season. He'll want another one tonight if he's to win this championship. He'll be rolling off third ahead of Stuart Pomfrey. Ashley Blake Hood starting in 5th ahead of Trevor Minchin, and Matthew Coleman in 7th place ahead of Jamie Sawyer. Carl Jacquelet and John Jarrett round out the top 10.
Boy, after doing season after season of races from the Netherlands, it's refreshing to do one here, which a lot of names that I can pronounce. How about in 11th position, it's Mike Morris. Dave Walsh is going to flank him on row 6. In the Baker's Dozen spot, it's David Carney. Mark Redford in the 14th position. Carl Hayes in 15th. All ribbons and curls. We know him from the MX5 World Tour. That's Ashley Beard in the Sweet 16 spot. Ryan Robertson in 17th. 18th is going to be Michael Jones. The next row is populated by Robert Lundgren and Aaron Gearing.
Rounding out the field here, we have Andrew Mumby in 21st, ahead of Simon Marshall. Mark Murphy and Ben Summers on row 12, ahead of Chris Bourne and Lance Simon. And then Daniel Beckett did not turn a lap in qualifying, but he is here, as are all of the other drivers of 27 truck field.
And the man who is at the top of the points sits at the top of the grid as well, and that is Ian Cornish.
Yeah, and even though 7 points sounds like a lot, Bill, that's really not a comfortable cushion when it's all down to one race. I mean, you get involved in one wreck or something, doesn't even have to take you out. It could just hurt your straight line speed with a competitive field using fixed setups like that. If you don't have the straight line speed of everyone else, you could, you know, you might be able to walk out saying, hey, I salvaged tonight to a 10th place finish, but if Nigel de Jong takes the win and he finishes 10th or something, you know, that's it. It's de Jong's championship.
And going through the Dan Lisa standings, as we get familiar with this series here, as we usually get to do them all season long as we come in on the very finale, doesn't seem to be any bonus points here. As I look for, there are some, I don't see anybody getting bonus points for leading laps or most laps led. So I think it's just 1 position, 1 point per position.
See, the field has rolled off on its 1 pace lap here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. They'll be wanting to get their tyres warm. Looks like Michael Jones will be making a pit start. He had qualified in 18th position. Ian Cornish will control the field as they come through turns 3 and 4. We haven't mentioned a whole lot about Rhys Saunders there on the outside. He will be starting in 2nd place. He was 5th fastest in practice. Let's see how much pace he has in that number 91 machine.
How the odd and even plays out as well. The top line versus the low line.
Pace car leading them through turn 4, about to make a hard left turn. Ian Cornish will have control of the field. 80 laps of racing action for the season finale for the 2018 MTR Series starts now, and it's a good start by Cornish. That low line's looking pretty there, Bill.
81 gets a nice jump. A little more of a battle back for second. Rhys Saunders trying to get that locked in as he's trying the top side. Down low, that's Nigel de Jong.
So the 2 championship contenders, round 1 and 2, after a bit of a late start for Saunders there. So hard sometimes to get a good start when you start in 2nd. And boy, de Jong already closing the door. He knows he's got to get up front if he wants a chance of winning this race and winning the championship.
They go single file all the way back. The first real battle is back for 10th, but they'll get that sorted out. Actually, it's 11. Mike Morris in that mix. Stuck on the top side is Dave Walsh in the 27 machine, but they're getting that sorted out. Single file mostly all the way back.
Sensible decision early on. We mentioned it's a short race, but you definitely don't want to lose on the start, especially when so much is on the line. But we do have this pack for 10th, continues to battle. John Jarrett in the 59, Dave Walsh in the 27, Mike Morris in the 65, and Mark Redford in the 31.
Drivers coming around, putting in lap times. Keep an eye on this. Their lap time that time was a 31.1. start figure around a 31 flat, or 31 flat for where these guys are on a nice set of fresh rubber. We'll see how that compares 15 or 20 laps.
Fairly clean racing so far. Ian Cornish leading Nigel de Jong, but for how much longer? Right, Saunders wants that second place back. He's looking down low as they head into turn one. Now he drives in there a bit harder than de Jong. He's got the shorter way around. We'll have to see how this unfolds in turns 3 and 4.
The 91 has to be careful. Getting that position is inviting, but you don't want to use up your rubber too early here. I got to figure that the inside line's going to be a little harder on tires. Saunders locks in second.
Yeah, well, we saw Saunders also on that points graphic earlier. Let's not forget that he does have an outside chance of winning this championship, coming in and fourth in the points, so that's why he wants to try and get up front here too.
Another battle back in for 5th position. We can go back, drop a little bit. This is Blake, or Ashley Hood, who just made a move on the inside of Coleman. Now this is more going on. The 11 car of Trevor Mitchell in here as well. These guys battle behind the front runners. Actually, that's the best racing on the track, as the front four are pretty well now settling into a nice single file run. That 11 car of Mitchin still trying to make that bottom side work. Up high, that's Coleman in the car.
Right, Saunders is thinking about taking a lead up front, and Ian Cornish is thinking about keeping it. He ran him down to the bottom of the apron on the front straight defensively. Now, of course, these two will need to be careful. They're battling for championship, can't afford to throw it away. But also, after they race like this, all we're all allowed is John the closing, as well as Stuart Humphrey in 4th place, and maybe John and Humphrey will have better times than they got to.
There's a lot of guys back in the pack saying, Cornish and DeJong, you guys go at it. Take each other out. We'll be fine with that.
Say back in the pack, but not a whole lot back in the pack. Still, 7 laps in, 26 cars covered by 9 seconds, 27 trucks in this race. Michael Jones had the pit start. He's still on the lead lap, but he's waiting for the catch up.
After 8 laps, their lap times are still pretty competitive, right in there about 30 flat, just a little bit over what they started out, not losing too much time. Nice green flag run to start this season finale.
Don't say that, Bill.
No. We are the last always have fun when I'm in the booth.
Mike Morris just lost 2 positions in turns 1 and 2. A pretty good battle going on back around 15th place. Aaron Gearing currently side by side in contact with David Carney, and that sends Gearing up into the wall. And now Gearing's going to lose a bunch of positions.
In the 83 car, great save though. I'm not sure if he actually got into the wall, but he keeps it going straight. Oh yeah, he got a piece of it. He got a little bit of a hip check from Carney. Little damage from Carney on the left side, a little damage on the right side from the concrete.
Yeah, Gearing's not out of the woods yet. You see he's stuck on that high side, and it does seem, Bill, that the bottom lane so far this race has been the 3rd lane. I mean, we saw how hard earlier Cornish was driving to defend.
Well, that's another car loose. That is the
Simon Marshall.
The 9 car of Lundgren was also way up in the walls. A lot of action going on. I'm not sure if our director's going to be able to find any of that, but Lundgren got a hip check from Ashley Beard, and then Simon Marshall, I think, took the bases after in the 21, went through a little bit of Las Vegas tundra. There he goes. Bounce, bounce, bounce.
Either that, Bill, or he's watching our broadcast and he heard me say the low line is desired, and he thought, okay, let's see how low I can go.
Yeah, that was actually, he got a little bit of Lundgren coming off the wall, and that's what sent him down there, Lundgren in the 9.
And as soon as I said what I just said, Nigel de Jong proves me all wrong and goes on the outside of Wright Saunders to take 2nd place. He had such a huge run coming off of turn 2, he's thinking about taking the lead. So De Jong, I think, is one of the first drivers this race to make a high side work for him. Let's see if he can take a lead with it.
Talk about going low. Cornish takes it well on the apron, trying to take the shortest line to get to the corner. Saunders back with the popcorn, watching the show ahead. Look at the drive that the 41 gets up top.
Getting very close as they went into turn 3 there. They were almost brushing fenders, but sure enough, the highliners came in. De Jong has the lead, and now Saunders says, okay, if we can do that, I'm going to try it too. Let's see if Saunders can get second. Cornish has been leading the opening 13 laps of this race, and he'll remain in second because Saunders overdrove. He actually won there.
Sam, we brought you into the booth to broadcast this one because the drivers we thought the drivers wouldn't feel comfortable, feel right at home with your accent. These guys on the other side of the pond, they know how to race ovals. Look at that move now. Saunders up in second. Cornish dropping back to third. Again, Cornish caping the car below the apron every time.
You see all the string on four trucks just behind the speedway battle for the lead. Oh boy. So Saunders almost like a door shut in there. They got up and running from that to remain alongside with Ian Cornish, and now it looks like he'll be able to make that big stick in turn 3 and 4. So Cornish led the opening 13 laps, but I wonder if he burned his tyres off doing it, Bill, because he's going back now.
Yeah, you take Catwoman out of the mix, and it's hard to find anything that wears rubber more than this track. It's all about tire degradation right now. Your leader of the race, his best lap time was a 30.8. Right now, he just run a 31.5. You can tell that the laps are getting slower.
Yeah, I'm trying to refresh my Craig and paints here and see if there's a hit me mark on Aaron Gearing's truck, because he just had another truck get into him coming out of turn 4. He yelled at, oh wow, one truck up in the wall in turn 4. We saw him have a bit of an adventure earlier. Fortunately, even though there's a bit of beating and bashing going on the back of the field, they're all still pointing in the right direction. We stay green.
Yeah, it was a three-wide situation there with Gearing and Lundgren again. Lundgren was the car in the middle, and the number 9 of Lundgren, Gearing was the car in the middle. The number 9 of Lundgren came up and gave him a little bit of a shove. Nevertheless, the 83 of Gearing keeps going, racing in 21st. Oh, look at this car behind. Look at this guy coming. Daniel Beckett. Woo! There he is, up into 20th. Beckett had a run up high. Moves up into 19th. Keep an eye on the 23 machine.
Yeah, just before we jump back here, Bill, our viewers may have caught sight of Stuart Pomfrey, the number 36 machine who had been running in 4th place. He had a bit of a slip in turn 4, and it dropped him all the way back to 7th.
Yeah, he had a nice qualifying run. He started in 4th. He has fallen to the back of the train. Now, I got him currently in 6th, right behind Coleman and Ashley Blake Hood in 4th. The real news, though, is Cornish, the early leader, seems to be really beginning to struggle. All that going on while Nigel Jean starts to run away. Oh, maybe a disconnect here from one of our drivers, Trevor Minchin, maybe? Trevor's not with us anymore. He qualified on the outside of row 3. I currently show him in 27th position, and I can't find him on the track. Oh, that's bad news for Trevor.
Caution on the speedway. And Chris Bourne has gone around on the front straight. And it wasn't a disconnect for Trevor because he just appeared in his pit stall. I'm not sure what. Oh wow, he is blinking in and out quite a lot, I'll tell you that though.
Chris Bourne got tagged by, oh man, Robert Lundgren. He's been in a lot of my calls here. Lundgren gets loose and gets into the back of Chris Bourne. That's how I saw it. Let's see if our director can find it. The number 79 machine, and then Robert Lundgren, if we can. And I guess that looks like the restart, so we might have gone a little bit too far back there on that one.
Either way though, Bill, it looks like his truck's not too banned up, so we'll get back to live action here, because it looks like we still have everyone in the race, including Trevor Mintring, because the other thing we were trying to keep an eye on here was what was going on with Trevor. He just appeared on the pit stall in my screen, Bill, but he was still blinking in and out. I have a feeling he elected to come into the pits once he realised his connection was suffering, but he hasn't lost it yet. Anyhow, the field is coming down pit road, so De Jong leading them in. Saunders behind, Cornish in third. Which way will these three championship contenders come out?
And with just 21 laps of racing, nobody decides to stay out. Everybody coming in, they all say, no way, even if I stay out, I'm a sitting duck. Go ahead.
De Jong overshot his pit stall, as did Saunders. Saunders had it worse, though. Saunders got in the wall in his pit stall, and he's first one out. I'm wondering if he elected to take 0 tyres there, as is probably the case with Ben Summers follows him right up.
Yeah, you know, the 91, not only did he miss the pit stall, he banged it off the inside wall, and then, for whatever reason, took no tires. Yeah, I think he probably said, all right, I've blown this one. Let's just go out here and lead and see what happens. Maybe he'll get another yellow here in the next 6 or 7 laps, and everyone can come in again and it won't cost him too much. He's our leader.
I just worked out what happens, Bill. We need a replay of this. He hit the wall because Ian Cornish rear-ended him coming into his pit stall. Ian Cornish, who led the first half of the race, has significant front-end damage. He got into the back of Rice Saunders as Saunders was pulling into his pit stall.
Apparently, while the car still had mass, because you become transparent a while. But yeah, oh no, you're right. It happened out on pit lane. Sure enough, it was that.
Yeah, here we go. Watch this.
Right up at the far right of your screen. Boom. And then he has to find a spot. And then we'll stay on this, director. Stay here. And then he says, forget this. And he goes. Actually getting nothing done while he's in there.
Yeah, well, he came back in this time around. Rice Saunders and Ben Summers are in their pit stalls right now. So all of a sudden, leading the race is actually Blake Hood, because our 3 championship contenders really have bad pit stops there.
Absolutely. And what that does, that gives us the name some watch. Nigel De Jong is now down in 5th position. Our pole sitter, Cornish, all the way back in 21st. Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
Imagine the pace car lights are still going to be on here for another, well, let's see, they might go off this time around. Get you a full race rundown here. It's going across the top of your screen. It's all got a bit mixed up here, Bill.
Well, I'm going back to see. I mean, interesting to see if what the option was here, if it were all 4 tire stops, if anyone took 2 only to get out there. I'd like to see what Ashley Hood did, if he was a 2 tire stopper. Now he's the car that is behind the pace car, I believe. We have Hood taking 4. We get that news. I imagine everyone will probably take 4.
I think the theory behind that, Bill, is if we did go green until the end, although I don't think they could all make it on fuel, they really only need 1 caution or so to make it on fuel. So let's say that caution comes right at the start of a run or right at the end of a run. You can't afford to pit at that point, so you might as well take 4 tires now just in case you're not coming back in.
Yeah, the interesting thing will be what happens if we get a yellow with, let's say, like 40 to go. You could go the distance from there, and then it becomes an issue of, is it faster to do 40 on 1 stint, or is it better to do 20 and 20, taking into account that pit stop? If lap times become a difference of maybe 2 to 3 seconds per lap, depending how these tires were out, that extra stop may come into play. We'll see how it plays out right now. But they're working lap 24. I believe the pace car is going to be coming in.
Yes, he is. 26 of our 27 starters still in the race, still on the lead lap. Trevor Minty and Haskell opted to disconnect. Ashley Blake's hood leads them back to the green. He's not going yet. Now he goes and he gets a nice jump on the outside line once again.
Oh my goodness. Director, maybe we can bookmark this spot if you want to get a replay of how to do a restart. Reese Saunders just picked up. He started in 18th position before we went green. He is just flying through the field. The number 91 car, picking up a bunch. We'll keep an eye on him.
Yeah, well, he's going to do it. We have this championship fight still going on. But of course, a very short season means not a whole lot of winners. And there's a new set of drivers up front trying to get a win before the season is out. Ashley Blake doing a good job of it. Over half a second lead on Nigel de Jong already, but we'll have to be careful about his cars.
Big names that we can mark. Go ahead, get out your clipboards, boys and girls, and mark this down. The 81 car, Ian Hornich, currently in 19th position. He's stuck back there trying to get around guys like Simon Marshall and David Carney. Remember, these are guys that were up front early. They got cycled back during the pit stop.
Cornish definitely has some substantial damage to the front of his truck there, to the front of his Toyota Tundra, and you've got to be a little bit careful. That's going to be hurting not only his aerodynamics, but maybe even.
Bam, here comes Nigel de Jong.
Not what Cornish wants to see.
Started 4th on the restart. He's already made his way around Sawyer and Coleman. And remember, that 41 car was leading before the yellow flag. It is quick. Right now, he's got Blake Hood in front of him there. Ashley Blake Hood.
Jamie Sawyer and Matthew Coleman. You got the third and fourth right on the bumpers of these two leaders, and you get a bit of a gap back to Cole Hayes in 5th place, and he's leading the rest of the field. His 4 trucks have really broken away. Right now, Hood continues to lead them around, but for how much longer?
We ride on board with Jamie Summer right there. Sawyer looking ahead. What's interesting for the cars in the back, there's a lot of two-wide racing going on, but honestly, not a lot of passing being done. They are racing in bunches.
Well, the guys around ninth place are about to change that right now, Bill. We got John Jarrett alongside Mike Morris, Mark Murphy trying to figure out who to follow, and then there's 3 wide behind.
Yeah, one of those guys behind is the 91 car. He's coming. I talked about it before. It's Reese Saunders now. He is in 12th position. He's got Andrew Mumby to the outside. Mumby's in the wall in the 10 machine. He's stuck up there. I don't think it's going to bring out the yellow if he can get it off safely. And he does. He drops back to 9th position.
Watch the field. He comes off the wall, Bill, but he had to try and pack to the left of him as he came back down, but everyone's okay.
That's Andrew Mumby in the number 10 machine. He is way back to 24th. And we continue to look at Saunders, who's now made his way up to 10th. And now he's working on Mark Murphy. Goes down below the apron. I think he's going to get this done. Here comes the 91. He is a-coming.
Yeah, it needs to come a bit faster though, I think, or at least by the end of the race it needs to gain a few more spots than this, because still many positions behind Nigel de Jong running in second.
How about Ashley Blake Hood, though? I thought the 82 was going to be easy pickings as we continue to ride on board with Murphy. There's de Jong in second. I thought he was going to be easy pickings for de Jong. That's not the case. Hats off to the 82 machine. Good job, Ashley.
Yeah, I don't think Hood has competed in this full season. He's certainly proven he's good. As we got the battle on track here.
Looking at de Jong, one position back. This is Coleman on the inside, trying to work on Sawyer. Now look at the run on the outside in that citrus flavor machine. Gets that pass made, I think.
Mark Redford making his
Yeah.
way up into the top 5. That's the first time we've mentioned his name today.
Watch out for the 96 of Carl Hayes as he gets in there as well. Redford back in that kind of white and green colored car. For those unfamiliar with my commentating, my mom and dad blessed me with some horrible rods and cones, so I may call a car pink that's actually yellow. It makes the broadcast enjoyable. And also, if you want a nice consumption game, every time one of the commentators calls these cars, take a sip of your non-alcoholic carbonated barley brew.
We're out of NASCAR. Approaching the halfway point very quickly here. Battle going on in the middle of the field. David Carney holding on Daniel Beckett and Ashley Beard, 16th through 18th positions and not too far behind Simon Marshall. And he is pioneering Cornish, who has kind of stalled out around 14th place here, Bill. That's not good news.
Cornish doing all he can with that front end that is, has some interesting aerodynamics going on. It's right on board with Beckett now. But yeah, the leader of this train is the 81. Not sure it's as good leading as it is following.
Yeah, as we joined the Portario Academy, you may notice at the top of the show we mentioned the fact that Reeves is still in this championship battle, but he's 4th in the points. The driver 3rd in the points, Drake Forster, is actually a no-show here tonight, so that's why we keep calling it the 3-way championship battle.
Let's go up to 5th if we can. This guy is something to watch. Mark Redford. Now, he is being pestered by Matthew Coleman. Remember, Coleman qualified 7th. Redford qualified 14th. Redford's in that 31, that lime-flavored machine. Now, working underneath is Coleman. These guys have been going at it. And again, it's so hard to get that pass done. They're on a 17-lap stint now. A couple of those were under yellow. So let's say we've had about 15 laps raced in anger. Tires beginning to go away. And look at that. There's the pass. The 31 goes a little bit high. And there goes Matthew Coleman underneath. Give him spot number 5 if he can close the door. And the spotter says clear. Oh, a little hucky duck. A little hucklebuck. A little hokey doke. A little dipsy-do up and under from the 31. Not going to happen.
Well, that's the trouble of a D-oval there, Bill. Mark Redford almost got another ball, went into turn 1, the way the D-oval kind of just throws you out toward the wall there, and I think he had to back off more than he wanted to, and so he probably felt, oh, I lost this place because of a mistake. That's why he was trying so hard to get it back, but ever since that moment we just saw in turns 3 and 4, well, Coleman's pulled away from him, and now Coleman has ran Jamie Sawyer down to 4th place. So now these two are about to go at ham-and-toms as we hit the halfway point.
Could maybe save the stuff early on, a little more aggressive here at the end as they're again working about 20 laps on this stint. That car number 26, that seems to be going place. Look at the drive he gets off of 2. Gonna go down below. Gonna say, see you later, boy, like you're a scared boy to the 46 machine of Jamie Sawyer. Ah, Sawyer fights back.
Still grinding side. Pretty much exact the same way they were a lap ago. Wonder how long they can keep this up. Coleman getting through turn 1 and 2 a lot better there.
And now I think Coleman should be able to put an exclamation point on that pass, and he's got it done. All this going on behind Carl Hayes, the number 96 machine in 3rd. There he is. And then Sam, Nigel DeJong, I guess happy in 2nd. He knows that's probably all he really needs to do for the championship.
Yeah, I think Carl Hayes will be quite happy in third as well. You just mentioned him as now these drivers are going to have to start dealing with some lap traffic because Hayes started in 15th place. So he's made up 12 spots from the start. But yeah, Chris Bourne, the driver we saw bring out the first caution, he's going a lap down now. So obviously something not quite right with his machine right now. And we'll wait to see how lap traffic plays a role later on in this race. But I want to give kudos to Ashley Blake Hood here, Bill. I know we've been doing that a lot during this run because he's led the whole thing. But I really thought the way he trekked out at the start of the run that he'd be burning off his tyres in the long run. And so far, he's holding on as we got almost a spin on the back straight. Ryan Robertson, and he still hasn't completely got it under him, pointing back up the track, trying to lock it down. Ryan Robertson, no safety penalty. Yeah, that counts as a save.
It does. We stay under green.
Oh, I don't know if I'm trying to go right back on the track though after you did all that.
No, he's
around on the apron.
He's chock full of confidence now, baby. He's bulletproof. Watch this one here.
What just show the fans on the back of the got to watch.
I got it. Oh, no, I don't. That's a tank slap.
Well, I think
I've never been able to do that, honestly. I've moved them around from there.
all three of our non-British drivers in this race, Bill, have had interesting races. Nigel de Jong out there fighting for the championship from Benelux. But his championship might be looking a bit more in jeopardy now because Reece Saunders is using lap traffic to make some passes. He just got up into fifth by Jamie Sawyer.
Yep.
Yeah, Nigel de Jong, one of the non-British drivers in this race from Benelux. Ryan Robertson from Carolinas. And then also we have Robert Lundgren, who you called doing some action early. It's from the Scandinavian region.
Director, if we could go back to 9th position, this is Mike Morris. He currently sits 5th in the points. He's having a nice run down here. He's in a 4-car battle. He's got Mark Murphy behind him. I sure hope Mark Murphy is from Ireland. Dave Walsh up there in 6th, and then Mark Redford in 7th. Let me correct myself. Walsh is in 8th. Redford leads the pack in 7th. And Murphy's the guy that, or Morris is the guy back in 10th. Exciting to watch, but boy, he's got a tail full as he's trying to get around. He's trying to get around Murphy right now. Morris is falling back to 10th. 65 machine trying to get underneath the 58 of Murphy.
I'm wondering, Bill, I'm a little surprised if these drivers, boy, this is about always going hot and heavy. I'm a little surprised that if these drivers can't make it to the end of the field, why we haven't seen any of them try and short pit. I wonder if they think there'll be a caution. This is a good reason to think there could be a caution. The fact you have 5 trucks under a blanket here. But also the fact we just saw a car on its own get sideways out of turn 2. I wonder if that's a problem these drivers are having with this fixed setup in the long run. Maybe it gets loose out of turn 2 during the longer runs. They're just waiting for someone to loop it. Because I know I've been in races like that before.
Continue to look at this battle. Our leader right now just put in a 32.2. His best time was a 30.8, so he's about a second and a half slower than his best lap time. Yeah, the tires are beginning to go. We've been out there for 30 laps, about 28 in anger.
Mark Redford, the first one to take a bait. We saw him. He'd been running in the top 5. He'd been dropping back through the field a little bit, so he brings the 31 machine into the pits.
Well, here you go. With 30 to go, and they have 30 laps on this set of tires, so he's just splitting it up into an even stint of 30 to get there. He'll put in just enough fuel to go the distance. Doesn't have to worry about the green-white checker. There is no such thing here in this series. I like that car. There's no sponsors on it. That's some old school paint scheme there as we look at Dijon. is our benchmark of all the cars that have come in. It is Mark Redford. He cycles out in 25th position.
Jamie Sawyer into the pits.
Sawyer, a name that you should be familiar with now if you've looked at those overlays. Well, let me correct myself. That's Saunders I was thinking of. Sawyers is not in the championship hunt.
Oh, and the overshot.
He missed it.
Yeah. Jamie Sawyer's had a pretty decent season, though, sitting 10th in the point centre in the finale. He, one of the cleaner drivers, it appears. Only 2 wins in the points per race. Not a whole lot of drivers in the field that can say that.
Okay, Director, let's go to car number 31, currently in 25th position. You want to have some fun here? Let's see if there's anybody to run up on. He's got these new tires. He just made quick work of Aaron Gearing. Well, that's too bad, though, for Mark Redford. We really won't be able to judge his lap times as there are nobody around him. Kind of like watching a jet airplane in a clear blue sky. Unless you got some clouds to go by, you don't realize how fast it's going. Oh, boy, the leaders, the lap times from De Jong, 32.4. These are horribly slow lap times from all these guys. Saunders just put in a 30.8.
Of course, last thing Saunders wants to see is a caution flag.
Let me correct myself.
Ian Cornish coming into the pits, Bill.
Yeah, he would like to come in and get some front end cosmetic work as well, but I don't think that's going to have time for that. Come in, take 4 and enough fuel to go, what do we got here, 25 laps.
And this is a championship gamble, Bill. I don't think he's doing this for a strong race result. He's doing this because he knows where he's running, he's not going to win the championship. He needs to play some kind of strategy game to get him up front.
Yeah, ideally you'd come in. Hopefully the guys up front run a long time on these tires. We have a smoker.
Yeah, this is definitely what wants to see. Car smoking going down the front straight is Mike Morris. Well, actually, that might not be too bad because Mike Morris is one of the trucks running in front of him, so that's a position there.
Yeah, remember we talked about Mike Morris, how well he was doing. Well, that car is killing some mosquitoes here in Las Vegas. That's too bad. Now, he was one of the drivers that was on the points overlay. He set 33 points. His chance of a championship was a long shot at best, but now there's no shot.
He must have got involved in some kind of incident. You see the damage to the front end of that machine. Oh. Spinners on the front straight. Mark Redford must have came up on David Carney on old tires.
I think it's Andrew Mumby is who he got into. It was the 10 car, just came up and run into the back of Mumby. And this is the 31. Remember we talked about Redford being so fast? Well, you want to see closing speed of our director can find it. That was it. Just a little bit back from that. There you see the cars moving off. We'll see if we can get one more look at it. Here we got it now. Watch the lime green car. There's the 10. Now watch he's gonna get punted by a guy who's you've been on the highways, you've seen this guys that have someplace to go. Look at that 31. Boom! Going
that
too slow.
Like a pit road communication error there. Fortunately for them, no caution. Pit road has gotten busy while we've been taking a look at this. No leaders coming in, but lots of drivers in the middle of the field.
Sam, that's a good call. I think that's exactly what that might have been. Somebody whose arm wasn't long enough didn't wave out the window far enough to alert Redford what was going on. Car that is in now. Carl Jacquelet is the leader of all the cars who have made a recent pit stop. I think, no. Let me correct myself there. Ian Cornish, I believe, is the guy we got to keep an eye on. Currently in 16th spot. According to my timing and scoring, he's the benchmark.
Yeah, turn 4 is so tricky to make a good pit entry here. And as I say that, Ashley Beard sliding sideways on the front straight. There must have been some kind of strange call coming out of turn 4 that time. Brian keeps it pointing straight though. But I think the problem is turn 4 is so wide and it opens up that you get a false sense of security. That's like, oh, I don't have to worry about trucks pitting. And then you realise there's a slow truck in front of you and you realise, I'm going a lot faster than I thought I was.
Yeah. There's De Jong still in second. The guy who's out there putting in lap times, it's Ian Cornish. He's in 14th. He's made his 14th position. He's made his stop. His last lap was a 31.3. That's about a second faster, over a second faster than what De Jong should put in from second position.
And De Jong has taken the no-risk strategy here. But with that comes a bit of a risk now, Bill. I mean, surely if he pits so late and he comes out, let's say, around 7th place, right ahead of Ian Cornish, then all of a sudden he would throw away this championship.
And it gets even more complicated now. Of course, this will change a little bit when they come in. But right now, there's only 13 cars on the lead lap. So all of this changes. These guys, the guys up front, 43 laps on this set of tires. I think they're scared to come in because they don't want to get caught out by the yellow. And this is good news for Cornish. Remember, Cornish is in the championship hunt. He's one lap down.
And Cornish championship leader coming in, but only by 7 markers. He just can't lose out to De Jong by 7 spots, and unfortunately for De Jong, every lap that passes without a caution is improving Cornish's chance of taking this championship.
Well, my timing is scoring. I can even give you the interval between De Jong and Cornish, and it's 41 seconds right now. That's a lap plus. But that's what's going on. So De Jong has to get in and out, get that stop made before Cornish comes around, and then a little bit more. I told you it was 41. Well, now it's under 41. It's 40.8, 40.7. He's knocking off tenths of a second every 10th of a second.
Yeah, of course, caution would change everything. The other thing we've got to keep an eye on is the thing in the top left of our screen there, Bill, and that's that there's not a whole lot of laps for this strategy they're panning out. And that's the other problem with De Jong. Even though he'll have new tyres, assuming he takes tyres when he makes this last stop, he's not going to have a whole lot of laps left to use them. In fact, I'm almost wondering if he's just going to pit for fuel when he comes in.
Well, honestly, yeah, with only 14 to go, now you just come in, splash and go, and just try to hope that well, boy, you splash and go, and then you get the yellow, then you are really up a creek without a paddle.
Ashley Beard and Ben Summers close up back here, running around 10th place. These two have yet to make a stop though, so their other ones open forward, and Ashley Blake Hood continues to lead this race.
And we have a new leader in second. Where it has De Jong pit, he's fallen back to third.
Yeah, that's confusing me. I don't know why Nigel De Jong has yielded second place to Matthew Coleman, unless he just burned off his equipment or something. I'm wondering if he's saving. You know what I'm going with this, right?
I don't think he can get to the end. We heard this. Nobody cared about how, when we tried to find out how long the cruise was on, they kind of laughed at us because, well, that's not going to matter soon because it's all going to be left tires. I was like, well, maybe not. And here it is. He's working lap number 48. Can he go 59 on a stint? I don't know.
Yeah, it might just be experimenting here. Man, I'm not sure I like his strategy. I almost think Nigel De Jong, with hindsight, of course, hindsight's always a great way to look at things, but as soon as he saw Ian Cornish coming to the pits, he should have maybe reacted to that and said, hey, I'm still going to beat you by 5 positions this way.
We're not going to have to look long to find Cornish because Cornish is in 13th, but he's coming. Let's look at Cornish right now. Car number 81. He's coming up behind Saunders. This is getting a lap back from Saunders.
Yeah, let's not forget that Saunders is in this championship fight too, but he's 12 points back. He would have to hope for both of these two to be caught in an incident, I think, for this to work out for him now.
Now look at here. Let's go up to De Jong in the 41 machine up in 3rd. You want to see how fast the older cars are on fresh tires here? That was Carney, just goes by him in 24th. Look at the 80. There goes Cornish right there. Got us lap. That's Cornish underneath De Jong. Now they're just separated by a lap.
Yeah, it goes lap back from him, not the leader. Speaking of a leader, while Coleman and De Jong have continued to drop back, they're about 8 seconds back of Hood now. I think Hood is just running it until it runs out and hoping for a caution to save him.
De Jong has been out there for 51 laps. There are 8 to go. It's to the point now where if you were coming to splash and go, I'm not sure he could get out ahead of Cornish, who is flying.
It is going to come down to if he has enough fuel wheel, because right now, even though we're saying Vince looking in Ian Cornish's favour, if the position's finished right now, let's say iRacing said, okay, we're going to allow rain delays and throw a bunch of rain right now, Nigel De Jong will be the champion. But the chances of that are getting lower every lap.
It all goes away if he runs out of fuel. Not only that, he has to worry not only about losing positions there to Cornish, but the guys around him as well, like you're talking about.
Coleman into the pits. He can't make it.
Oh, see, now that's the canary in the coal mine right there. It'll be interesting to see how Cornish fares in relationship to these guys. Cornish is on the back straight. Coleman is still in his pits. Cornish comes around and oh, it's going to get him easy.
Nigel De Jong, though, continues to stay out on track. Boy, Nigel must have just had a couple of really bad races this season. For him to have won 4 out of the 8 races coming into this round, and Ashley Blake Hood, our race leader, comes into the pit. For him to have won half of the races this season, and never, you know, he used his 1 drop week, and he's not going to win the championship after winning half of the rounds. Boy, Ian Cornish, well, he might, of course, but I just don't know right now, because all these other drivers pit in, even if Nigel De Jong can make it to the end, these are positions that Ian Cornish is gaining.
Right. Okay, now here we go. Hood is rolling. And I'm not sure if Cornish is going to get there or not.
Nigel De Jong is about to lose the lead to Cole Hayes, with 3 laps left to go as they come around this time by. These drivers both trying to make it to the end of fuel. Cole, of course, has less to lose championship-wise, but it's not going to help De Jong if he doesn't win the race.
Hood is out 2.3 seconds ahead of Cornish. That may be enough for him to stay in front of Cornish. I don't think, if De Jong has to come in, I don't think he's close enough. I think he's going to lose the spot to Cornish. I don't think De Jong plans on coming in. He's running this baby.
Yeah, well, they're coming to 2 laps left to go. Of course, the best thing for De Jong right now is a caution.
That tank is as empty as a syrup bottle after a pancake social. De Jong out in front.
This is for the lead. This is for the lead. John Jarrett on the high side here.
Yep.
De Jong has to be careful. He's still got to try and win this race, but he's got to make it to the end with fuel. And he can't hope for his competitors to run out of fuel, because then those are all positions for Ian Cornish.
So he drops back to second with 2 to go.
Cole Hayes is out of fuel. Yeah, Hayes is out of fuel. That was the yellow truck you saw dropping on the apron there with 1.5 laps left to go. white flag is in the air for John Jarrett.
DeYoung crumbs across, gets the white flag in second.
Jarrett's out of fuel. Or maybe not. Maybe he was just letting the lap truck by there. So DeYoung is in second, but so many drivers. And Jarrett's... Yes, he is this time. He definitely is. So DeYoung takes the lead on the back straight on the final lap. But with Rye Saunders in the pits out of fuel, with Carl Yates in the pits out of fuel, with John Jarrett on the apron out of fuel.
Here he comes.
Nigel DeYoung's going to win, but where is Ian Cornish going to finish? DeYoung wins.
Cornish currently in fourth. It's going to be a math problem now.
That's the championship. I think Ian Cornish has won this championship because the drivers get third.
Yeah.
The drivers racing DeYoung for the win, ran out of fuel, and that is going to give Ian Cornish the championship. Ashley Blake Hood in second. Wow, that was a wild one there.
It was all about the cushion between DeYoung and Cornish. DeYoung had enough fuel, but the guys he was racing with did not. And that's what allowed Ian Cornish to come and finish third, and we believe, get the championship.
I've never seen a race like that. No one's able to get back to the pits. They're going to have to send a fleet of trucks out there. Fans in the grandstands, get your trucks and pin them on down to the racetrack. We need help towing all these guys back into the pit road. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We will be back with a full race rundown and driver interviews. Don't go away. Hello and welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where we just witnessed probably one of the most interesting strategic races I've ever had the pleasure of calling, because Nigel de Jong wins the race ahead of Ian Cornish by 10 seconds. That is the most exciting 10-second win you will ever probably see in motor racing. Mark Murphy there in third position, ahead of Lance Simon, and then Carl Jacquelet. John Jarrett in sixth, Jamie Sawyer at seventh. Ryan Saunders, who was also involved in the championship battle, he came home in eighth, ahead of Carl Heiss, who ran out of fuel, right, and still crosses the line in ninth place, 42 seconds down. Michael Jones, 10th place, finished on the lead lap, 49 seconds down. And then, Bill, I'm going to steal the top one on the next page from you. Ashley Blake Hood still counts as a lead lap finish in 11th place. I incorrectly called that they crossed the line in second, but I assumed they must have run out of fuel on the last lap, because they finished the race on the lead lap, but 55 seconds down.
55 seconds might as well be 55 hours for that matter. Stuart Pumphrey comes home in the dozens position. Baker's dozen spot goes to Ben Summers. Aaron Gearing, we saw him have some issues, but he does get to bring it home. One lap down in 14th, just ahead of Ashley Beard. All ribbons and curls in the sweet 16th position is Andrew Mumby. He got really hit hard as he was trying to pit by a car that was on new tires. Matthew Coleman in 17th, Mark Redford in 18th. Behind those, rounding out your top 20, David Carney and Dave Walsh.
Well, we got some drivers lined up to interview. Let's start with our seat.
Sorry, Sam, I fooled you.
Sorry,
I'll do the last ones here. Hidden Blackjack, Robert Lundgren, Daniel Beckett in the double duck spot, Simon Marshall, Chris Byrne behind him, Mike Morris, Ryan Robertson, and the last car on the grid in 27th, Tever Mitchin. Okay, now we get to talk to somebody we want to. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, hold on just a second here.
As we start to trying to run down our champion if we can. Now we have him in here.
Yeah, Ian,
Hi.
you got the copy? Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, I'm
Ian,
here. I'm here, guys.
that is probably one of the most confusing championship scenarios I've ever seen play out in the closing laps. Where was your mind in those last 15 laps?
I honestly didn't think I was going to make it. Started on pole and had a few laps at the start, but burnt my tyres up a bit. And Nigel and Reese got past, and then on pit road had a bit of a coming together with Reese. He was trying to get into his box, and I needed to get into mine, and he was in the way, and we hit, and I had to get some damage fixed. There was about 23 seconds of damage, which put me at the back of the pack, and from there, I wasn't sure if we could make it on fuel. I thought some people would try and stay out, so I pitted on gap 55, and just went as fast as I could from there on and see what happens, basically.
Well, it ended up with you finishing in second place somehow. But, man, I know this is the first race of this series we covered on the GSRC, but Nigel de Jong won virtually half of the races this season. You still ended up beating him in the championship. I assume that's got to be a consistency on your part. You guys must have had a great back and forth championship going on in this MTR Truck Series.
Yeah, we did. Undoubtedly, Nigel was the guy to beat in most of the races. He's extremely quick. He's also extremely good at saving his tyres and keeping his car in good shape. But I just, I won one race and just picked up top fives. I don't think I finished outside of the top five all season. So I think Nigel missed last week as well, which gave me a 7-point advantage. So I needed to finish in the top 7, and I got the job done. So yeah, I'm pleased with that.
All right, for our director, we want you to talk for a moment about your paint scheme that you have on the number 81 machine.
Yeah, the Iron Maiden. Yeah, I'm a big Iron Maiden fan. Seen them a couple of times live, so yeah, I've been running that for a couple of seasons now. Got to thank Carl Hayes of Hazy Signs for painting the car for me. Always does a top job. If you need any paints, check him out. Cheers.
The director saying up the irons, mate, to Ian. Well, Ian, you're the first driver we've got to mention in the series. You're the champion. For those viewers just tuning in tonight to getting their first taste of the MTR Truck Series, what does it mean to you to win and compete in this championship, and how, from your experience, has it stood out against other leagues in iRacing?
It means a lot to me. I've been running this series for a long time now, about 4 years, and it's friendly. It's a good bunch of guys. We get on well most of the time. We just try and run clean races and have fun. So yeah, if you want to get involved every Sunday night, come and have a go.
All right. Well, congratulations on your championship there, Ian. We'll let you go and celebrate. And Bill, I believe you have caught up with the race winner, Nigel de Jong.
I do. This is Las Vegas, Nigel. This is the place where you take a gamble. Your gamble paid off. Unfortunately for you, in the big picture of the championship, the guys around you, it didn't pay off for them.
Yeah, no, I was just seeing him drop 1 or 2 every lap, and I was just hoping there was enough that was going to make it, so I would have enough of a point cushion on Ian, and unfortunately nobody did. So we ended up winning the race, but didn't get the championship.
Yeah, how close were you? You were really slow at the end. Were you very much dry?
Yeah, I was out by the time I crossed the line. I was actually pretty happy to see John run out, because I had about 0.2 gallons left, just enough to get me around that last lap.
Going into this, did you have any idea how far a fuel run would go? We tried to find out what it was earlier on, and all the drivers we talked to said, well, it really doesn't matter because we're never going to run that long anyway. But you had to.
Yeah, no, I had no clue. So I was just, during that first, we went pretty hard at first, me and Ashley, and then I was kind of thinking we're probably going to be around 3 or 4 laps short. So 15 laps in, I just started saving, and it was just about enough, but I had no clue going in that we were going to go this long.
Was there ever a time in your strategy where you said, oh, maybe I'll come in, maybe this isn't the way I'm going to do it?
Yeah, when Ian went, I was on the fence. I was just not sure. Looking back at it, I might have, if I would have gone in, maybe everyone else would have followed, and I would have gotten the championship, but who knows?
Yeah, but as far as drama goes, man, we sure do appreciate it here on GSRC. It was entertaining. Sam and I we were having fun trying to figure out the math, and as we watched them fade away around you, he's going to get the win, but he's not going to get the championship. Man, it was impressive. Fun to go. We hope to be back, cover more of these races in the future. We'll see you down the road.
Yeah, 10-4, guys. Thanks for broadcasting us, and we'll try and liven it up next time.
Well, man, if they come out like this every time, what a great series. Sam?
Yeah, well, we have one more driver entering this race who looked like he could have taken a championship, and that was Reese Saunders. Let's bring Reese in here.
It's tight fit here in the GSRC commentary.
Yeah, here we go.
We got him now.
Let's see, do we have him mic'd up?
Hello there, yes.
There's Reese.
Yeah, all right, Reese. Well, I've got to imagine this was bittersweet for you because you weren't able to get the championship and you brought home an 8th place finish. But boy, your guys' first race on the GSRC, you guys put on a great show there. That was very interesting, to say the least, in those closing laps there.
Oh, yeah, it was... Oh, what an incredible race, first and foremost. So thank you to all the drivers for keeping it clean, really showcasing what we do with a Sunday night in the MTR series. But yeah, bittersweet. Obviously, it was an outside chance for the championship. Ian and Nigel have been so fantastic all season long at being consistent and bringing the car home. But no, really, really interesting race. And, I was having to shut the engine off and do all sorts trying to bring the truck home.
Yeah, because things were going quite well for you early on in the race, but then I believe you were involved in contact in the pits that set you back there. Did that affect your handling at all?
No, the truck was absolutely fine. Did really well getting the truck repaired. I was at the back. I got a very good restart. I think I may have jumped it slightly, which is a bit naughty. But yeah, and then it was just, trying to battle my way back through the pack. And then when I realised it was going green and it was going long, I then realised I was probably about a lap and a half short on the fuel. So it was just desperately trying to stretch that out, but I couldn't do it, unfortunately.
Reese, I saw that restart. You were going through the middle like a butter through like a hot knife through butter, man. You were flying.
Yeah, green flag came out. I put the foot down, and yeah, there was checkups left and right, and I just, gained about 8 spots.
Well, Reese, this is our first time broadcasting this series here on the Global Sim Racing channel. No two races are alike, but you said it yourself. We saw a very clean race out there. We saw it come down to a race of strategy. I don't think anyone, not even a lot of the drivers, had anticipated that. What is it throughout the course of the season that we haven't got to see here on the GSRC that, in your opinion, makes this league stand out as opposed to other leagues out there on iRacing?
It's just a fantastic group of guys who've been running together for a few years as a core group. So we all get on. And yeah, it's just, being friends and having a respect for each other inside and outside of the sim. So it's been fantastic. So it's, the league's strength is definitely its members. I'd also just like to do a shout out for my team sponsor, HomeNet Hosting, proudly sponsoring Turn 4 Racing as well.
All right, well, Reese, commiserations on not coming out on the top end of that championship fight you guys had coming on, but thank you for coming here tonight, organising this for the GSRC, putting on a great show out there tonight. Definitely one I'm going to remember for a while.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Well, Bill, I think that's about going to wrap up everything for this broadcast. But what are your final thoughts? I mean, I think we've emphasised we've never quite seen the finish to a race like that.
Sometimes we get these series, we don't know what we're really in for. We come into it with a positive attitude, and often we have to do our best to make the broadcast entertaining. That was not the case this time. The drivers put on the show. We were just here trying to give you the action. Great job. Green flag racing all the way through. Great strategy. What more could you ask for? Boy, I love this series.
Yeah, one caution, of course, that kind of set up all that action towards the end there. And boy, I think it goes to show as well that these cookie-cutter tracks, when you put trucks on them here on iRacing, the cool track temperatures, you get some great side-by-side racing out there too. And I saw a lot of that, especially in the early stages. But we would like to thank all of the competitors, the organisers who made this happen with the MTR Truck Series here and put on the show tonight here on the GSRC. Additional thanks, as always, to the companies that provide us the software, the hardware that we use on our broadcasts. You can see them all listed on your screen. Additional thanks goes out to Eric Heckholm and Casey Lalonde to provide us with our great music. See the screen for how to get hold of more of their great work. Thanks to the team today, Bill, Sean and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. All of our upcoming races from our other series on screen, so be sure to check those out, mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.
race now.